guys, and welcome back to No Bland Makeup, where we do makeup and body paint tutorials, and this is one of the body paint ones. Yay! Also, my end file was corrupted, so that's why I brought you this loop of me trying to make this extend a little bit longer, and a TikTok video. Yay! I'll have all the links to my socials down in the description if you guys are interested, but let's move on. So I started off by blocking out my eyebrows. If you want a video on that, I'll have it linked in the cards up above. I am cutting it for time. So yeah, it's one of those days. I went ahead and started using an off-white body paint to just draw out the basic mask shape, leaving out spaces for where I'm going to be putting things like the eyebrows, the eye holes, the mustache, all of that. If you don't have an off-white body paint, what I did was just mix a little bit of yellow in with a little bit of white body paint. Realistically, I should have probably mixed a little bit of brown in there too, just so it wasn't so like yellow once it dried, but meh, it is what it is. But yeah, I went ahead and applied that pretty much all over my face, just leaving those spaces that I mentioned open. If you are not comfortable with brush, that is completely okay. You can use a sponge. I'm not very good at using sponges for this. That's why I usually go for a brush, but sponges could work too. Honestly, it'd probably work a little bit faster, but I'm not very good at that, so I'm gonna continue to use my brushes. And then once I have that all laid out in place, I'm going to go in with some black body paint and a very thin brush just to kind of outline those spaces that I mentioned earlier. Specifically the ones that are going to be colored in with black, so like the mustache, just making sure that I have it sketched out. Making sure that's even too, that was a hard part. I'm always like lopsided when I do body paint, so just try to keep it even. This one in particular, if I was smart, I would have thought of this earlier. You could use a ruler and just literally like make sure everything's kind of even. If you don't want to do that, you can always draw dots and connect the dots, and that helps too. And then once I kind of had more of the shape of what I wanted down, because I also went in and I started kind of fidgeting with it, just making sure that it was even to each side. I went in and started drawing the little like goatee thing. Not a goatee thing, it is definitely a goatee. I started drawing that in, and again just trying to make sure that everything was even as I went. Clearly my little goatee shaped hole that I made here was not particularly even. I had to go in with that black body paint and adjust it a little bit. If you have to do that, no shame, because guess what, I had to do it too. No judgment from me. I tend to mess up everything, and everything looks lopsided when I do it. And then I went in with some black and did the eyebrows as well. You want to make sure to give yourself enough space above and below the brow, because when we do the shading, it gets a little funky there, so just keep that in mind. And then for the rest of the spaces that are going to be black, you can go ahead and fill those in. If you want to do the eye holes now, be my guest. If you don't want to fill in the eye holes, you don't have to. And then once I realized I didn't need that big gaping space that I left, I just painted the rest of my mouth. Pretty much. Then I did something that I don't normally do. I set the body paint with some powder. I wanted to see if this would help everything, like when I do the shadows with eyeshadow, if it helps it blend a little bit more. It kind of did. It also kind of didn't do anything. So if you want to do this extra step, cool. I feel like it just made my body paint crack a little bit more, but yeah, it was fun to try. I'm going to try with a different powder though and see if it's just the one that I was using. I was using the Kat Von D one. That one's pretty matte, so I'm going to try to use one that's not as matte, and I will get back to you guys in a different video on that. But then once I did that, I went in with some brown eyeshadow and started shading. Now, even on the actual mask, all the shading is pretty exaggerated, so you can really go ham on this one. You know, especially on the cheeks, you want to make those cheeks look like they're popping out of your face, basically. So go ahead and what I would do is kind of place the eyeshadow where you want it and then blend it out from that like line. You know how usually I'm complaining about harsh lines? Today is opposite day, and I'm telling you to make harsh lines, but blend it out from the bottom. That way it looks more raised and it looks like there's a natural shadow there, so it kind of makes it look a little more realistic, a little more masky, if you will. And yeah, make sure you also get the sides of the nostrils. Even on the pictures of the mask that I was looking at on Amazon, because that was the first thing that came to my mind, even there, the nostrils and everything, even around the eye holes, was super pronounced. So you really want to make sure that you apply that shading around there, and it'll really pull the look together when we start doing some highlighting. Now you guys will understand why I'm always nagging about, if you shade, you should highlight. You'll see. I promise you, you will see. And then the only part of this mask that really had any color per se is his lips, and then the blush that was on the cheeks. So I went ahead and applied that, and I also went in with some white body paint and started doing the highlights for the little goatee. Those were just lines I kind of blended out with my finger. Big deal. For the rest of the mask though, any place that I put some shadow, I applied a little bit of highlight near it, so that way it gave more of a 3D effect and it looked a little more realistic. This is really what makes, like, if you look at an object just in your house, you'll notice that there is a shadow, but there's also going to be a highlight where your light source is coming from. So anything that looks three-dimensional on drawings, that is going to be a big thing for it. Shading is the most important part when it comes to body paints and even makeup too. Like, contouring and highlighting are supposed to work together. Sorry, that rant went on for a little bit longer than I wanted to, but it is important, so listen to me. But that is the finished look. Here's a loop of me whooshing my face around. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely did. It's been on my list for a while, so thank you to whatever for making me stuck in my house, because now I have time to do stuff that I actually want to do. Alright, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to see what comes out of my channel next, and let me know what you guys want to see in the comments. I want to know. I want ideas, even though I don't need more ideas. I need more time to execute them. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye!